Welcome back. In this video, I take a look at how people make a subjective view of the severity of wicked problems. I outline a model of this, offer you a metaphor, explore the concept more deeply, highlight the research that informs my approach, and then give an example of how people subjectively assess a wicked problem's severity. In my model of the subjective assessment of a wicked problem severity, people's interest in a wicked problem magnifies and is magnified by emotion. Similarly, emotion magnifies the relevance of the problem, and then naturally its relevance magnifies emotions, all really interconnected. The relevance of a wicked problem stimulates interest in it and vice versa. Metaphorically, it's like watching poker, or actually playing it. You're much likely to have an emotional view if you're playing and it's for money. It's known as having skin in the game. A wicked problem's subjective severity is stakeholders' emotional perception of the intensity of its likely outcome. And a wicked problem's severity comprises interest-induced severity, that is, the extent to which an individual desires to know more about a problem. This magnifies emotion-induced severity, which is an individual's effective response to a problem, which connects with relevance-induced severity. This is the extent to which an individual feels involved in and affected by a problem, which further stimulates and is stimulated by interest-induced severity. Now, the three dimensions are strongly associated with perceived problem severity. As a problem becomes severe, stakeholders may become more emotional because they're surprised or scared by the situation. A severe problem may interest stakeholders because it threatens their safety. Stakeholders are also wanting to know more about the situation and how to protect themselves. Stakeholders might feel more personally involved, thus perceiving greater relevance as the situation becomes increasingly severe, since they are potential victims of a similar problem. The three dimensions are also associated with each other. Stakeholders may not be interested in the situation if the crisis is not relevant to them. If stakeholders don't feel any involvement or relevance regarding the crisis, they're less likely to be emotional about it. It's the research that supports this. A Royal Society study group led by Nick Pigeon looked at risk perception in the early 1990s, actually just as I started my own research in this space. And around about the same time, Aaron Wildavsky and Carl Dake also took a look at who fears what and why. More recently, Zhu and colleagues have looked in depth at perceived severity in organisational crises. Here's an example. Consider the people living on the beachfront on Pacific Islands. As the climate crisis and its actual potential effect on sea levels has become more severe. Understandably, we've seen strong emotive language used at various Pacific forums. While most people aren't particularly surprised, there remains great fear amongst them because of the threat that climate change and its effect on sea level poses to their safety. They want to know more about how they're going to be protected. They're personally involved because increased sea levels threaten their property and livelihoods. Compare this with people living in regional Australia. They're not concerned about sea level rises, although some are concerned about climate change. So they're less emotionally involved. If you want to learn a little bit more about my approach to helping people to deal with wicked problem, please follow up with any of the links below. In particular, have a look at the Wicked Scorecard, which helps assess how exposed your work-life environment is to wicked problems.